You've decided to get back into the groove of podcasting, but now you need to refresh everything. So let's dust off your mic and figure out how we're doing that, both literally and figuratively. You're listening to the Victorian Podcasters Podcast, your bite-sized slice of podcasting know-how. We're all about connecting Victorian podcasters, newbies, pros, and the I'm gonna crowd. We'll put your money where your mouth is and join our emailing list and Facebook and LinkedIn groups for exclusive updates, resources, and our community Q&A, because podcasting doesn't have to be a solo gig. Vic Podcasters is proudly produced on Wadawurrung land. And yes, I did say figuratively. So the first thing that you need to do practically is make sure you check your gear. So does your mic still work? If you're doing a video podcast, does your lights and camera still work? Do you still remember how to use the editing software? Has the editing software you use updated or upgraded since the last time that you've used it? Do you need to reteach yourself how to use it? Do you have any files or any checklists that you've made previously? Do they need to be refreshed? Now is a good time to start. And if you've got the opportunity to, maybe decluttering your files as well as decluttering your physical space where you podcast is also a good opportunity, because now you can, because you're getting back into the groove, right? Now, I'm aware that it can feel very gung-ho to start going full throttle back into podcasting now that whatever made you take the break in the first place has passed, or you feel more equipped to be able to take on podcasting again. But I want you to slow down a little bit. I want you to ease back into your podcasting routine and start slow. Can you batch record a bunch of episodes to reduce your stress? Not even editing them, just batch recording, like I do here at Vic Podcasters. Are you able to schedule anything ahead of time? Are you able to put in calendar reminders to remind your time where you're actually recording or batching a bunch of episodes? Do you have any accountability buddies or anyone, say, in a community of local podcasters who would be able to keep you on top of your recording and your podcast goals? If you're wanting to look for accountability buddies, why not check out Vic Podcasters? We're always on the lookout. About every 3 months, we make sure to provide some opportunities for people to have accountability buddies in their podcast. Vic Podcasters was brought to you by the Video Confidence Coach. That's me, emboldening women and non-binary superstars with killer video marketing strategies, empowering them to show up, stand out, and smash their goals. Now that you've cleared away all the mess, both the mental and the physical, hopefully, now it's time to think about avoiding podcasting burnout again. Now I'm not saying that you taking a break from your podcasting was initially because of burnout, but there is a good chance it may happen either again, or it may happen in the first place because you're too busy running on that treadmill trying to get back into the swing of things. So, as we've established in our previous episodes in this series, so why not check it out if you're unfamiliar, what went wrong last time, and what can you do differently to make sure that doesn't happen again? What boundaries can you realistically set for both your recording and editing goals? Do you find yourself being a bit too precious in the editing room? Or is it the opposite, where you try and self-correct as you're recording? This can be helpful sometimes, but most of the time it just takes more energy and effort out of what you do. So what can you realistically do to make sure that you don't burn yourself out? And now that you're also thinking about starting afresh with this comeback, maybe think about moving to a different format. Instead of a weekly format, maybe moving to a fortnightly format to avoid burnout. Or maybe look into doing seasons of the podcast, so you're able to take breaks, yes, for about a month or maybe 2 weeks, whatever you need to do. But if it is to avoid burnout, highly recommend taking that break no matter what. Your audience will understand. And as you're getting back into the groove, let's talk about making podcasting fun again. Are you able to try any new segment or guest format within your podcast? Are you able to make it interesting for you and your audience? Because of course, a lot of your community will love to hear the old you and the old format again. But if you're enjoying yourself and actually getting back into the reason why you're doing podcasting in the first place, experiment with shorter episodes if that reduces your burnout, or maybe it's just a new thing for you. Always remember why you started podcasting in the first place and bring everything back to that. Because hopefully that's why you started podcasting in the first place, to make it fun, but also to reach out to your community. An action step for those who are branching back into the podcasting arena: why not try and record a warm-up episode? Now, this isn't necessarily a podcast that you're going to release to the public, but just something to shake off the rust and get you back into the flow of things. What is a topic or something that you've been interested in trying out that, again, is not necessarily going to be shown to the public, or maybe you can show it to a select few of engaged listeners or Patreons or people on Ko-Fi? What can you offer people maybe later on, but down the track when you're back into the swing of things? Or if you want to just make it a secret offering to those at the Vic Podcasters, I don't think we'll say no. Using this warm-up recording, you can play around a bit with the test recording, have a bit of fun with it, and remind yourself that you are capable, you've done this before, and podcasting is supposed to be enjoyable. Next week, we're focusing on winning back your listeners without begging, because you're back into the groove again, right? Let's do this. That's it for this week's episode. Tune in next week for more tips, updates, and the occasional pun. Good ideas buzzing? Excellent. Head to the show notes in this episode for details that you'll need to dive deeper into Victoria's podcasting community. The Vic Podcasters would like to acknowledge and pay our respects to the Wadawurrung people of the Kulin Nation, the traditional custodians on the land on which we work, live, and play. We pay our respects to our elders past and present. We stand with the traditional custodians in these lands in working towards a more equal future. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land. And hey, don't forget, podcasting is better with mates.